Hello and welcome, this is Truthful, your French veteran GM. Today we are going to look at some elements of the last Unearthed Arcana from Wizard of the Coast. An Unearthed Arcana, if you don't know what it is, it's roughly a playtest. It's an unofficial part of content. It's just released for us to take a look at and maybe test it if you want to play with it. And usually they then open a poll for feedback. This Unearthed Arcana is about playing evil type of persons. This is really about playing the baddie, not just the person who's trying to do the best he can. We're talking about downright evil persons and creatures. There are 4 subclasses that have been released. I've decided to only speak about the Circle of Titan, the Druid subclass. And I will touch on the Villainous pass in a later video. Hi there, Truthful. I'm making a slight break in this video to talk about the Bee Dragon project. This is a book I am almost finished publishing. It will be released in a few weeks. There was a Kickstarter about this project. This Kickstarter has finished, but you can still opt in to get the PDF in the link below the video's description. This project is a rulebook for 5e and 5.5e that allows you to play a dragon from level 1 as a baby dragon that grows up to level 20 to become a young adult dragon. You can select from 5 different subclasses and a ton of draconic knowledge options, which act like small feats that you can adapt to your character as you level up to make your unique type of dragon, be it the death from above flying, or a side dragon, or a magician dragon, and so on. Check the link below and see more for yourself. So first off, we're going to talk about the subclass, and then we'll go to the Villainous path. The subclass I wanted to talk about is the Druid one, the Circle of the Titan Druid. And this is essentially a subclass that is trying to protect nature by destroying society. So if you wanted to play Godzilla or work for the League of Shadow in Batman, I think this is your pick. It is very simple in its design. At level 3 you get a bunch of spells as any subclass. These spells are rather good. You've got some healings, some control effects, and some destruction effects. And then you can, as the level 3 feature, use your wild shape to morph into one of 3 Titan forms: the Behemoth, the Leviathan, and the Insectoid. These forms give you different benefits, and as you level up your subclass, when you get to level 6, 10, and 14, you get extra benefits for these forms. This is all there is within the subclass, and I really like it. It's a tight structure. It's very simple in its design, simple to understand, and very, very thematic, very cool to play. So whatever form you take, whatever Titan form you take, there are elements that are similar across all the creatures. Your size depends on the level of your druid. You start as a large creature, you become huge at level 10, and you become gargantuan at level 14. So you get really big, and that is one of the changes I really like to this subclass. Historically, the subclasses have not been playing much with gaining size, at least not as much as I would like, and they are going really full up the scale with this one, and you get to become gargantuan, so you get to rival ancient dragons in size. I love this. Your AC as the creature is going to be roughly the same. You get the best AC you're gonna have is 11 plus your wisdom modifier for the Behemoth, and then it goes down for the Leviathan and the Insectoid. Your strengths and dex are switched. You use your wisdom modifier for these and your wisdom score for these as long as you are in Titan form. The rest of your stats are not modified. All forms have a dark vision. You still can speak, and you don't have any changes about languages. Whatever form you have a base attack that is called a Rend. And then you gain 2 attacks in a multi-attack at level 5. and for each of them they have a special feature and a special traits or two. The Behemoth is roughly a siege monster, so he can break things more easily. He has a rampage effect, which allows him to either force someone down to put them prone, or trample them, dealing bludgeoning damage, which is very thematic for a Behemoth. I like it. Then you have a special attack, that is the Incandescent Breath, to essentially fire a line of magic damage. It's a 60-foot long line, 5 foot wide, and it's doing radiant damage that depends on how high of a spell you are using. You need to expend a spell slot for it, and the spell slot is at minimum level 1, and you deal damage equal to 2d8 per level of the spell slot, so it ramps up quite nicely. And the creatures need to save against your spell DC for half damage if they succeed. The Leviathan is the same thing as the Behemoth regarding the rend and most of the stats. The difference is the Behemoth can climb and the Leviathan can swim, and you have a slightly less AC than a Behemoth, which I don't like. I don't see why a Leviathan should be squishier than a Behemoth. They really could just have the same stat block elements and just change the speeds, and then just modify the features. The Leviathan is amphibious, so you can breathe air and water, and you get some kind of a toxic effect around you, which is very reminiscent of Kraken-like effects as well. You can choose to try to poison targets that are around you. You can force a con save on creatures near you, and they need to take a few poison damage, and then they become poisoned until the start of the next turn. This is one thing I don't like. This feature does not scale. Main element of this feature is the poison condition, which many creatures will be able to resist. I think they could propose at higher level maybe something you could use with the poison, maybe a bit like the sneak attack special effects of the 5.5e rogue. Maybe you can slow them or prevent them from using a reaction. This kind of effects. Your special effect is a reaction. It's an ink cloud. You still need to expend a spell slot. All of your special effects require spell slots, and this is essentially you take damage and then you make a 15-foot radius cube centered around yourself. It's heavily obscured and it lasts for a minute, so it's really just the ink cloud of some of the water creatures or monsters you know in D&D. You don't see through this because it's heavily obscured. It's not darkness. I think they're gonna fix it. There is little reason for you to blind yourself. I think you should be able to at least navigate or have some kind of a benefit within the ink cloud. Then that could become a better effect. This could be one way again to scale the effect instead of just having an ink cloud that is just darkness. Maybe at higher value you are aware of anything in your ink cloud, so you don't suffer kind of the blinding effect. The Insectoid is, well, it's the flying version. It's the lowest AC, which is really not something I like. I think it should be corrected. Once again, I think the three should have the same AC. The Insectoid has a hive mind. The effect is when you assume the form, and this is one of the scaling effects, so you don't have it at first. It's an effect that comes at level 10. You get a telepathic link with creatures that you can see, and you can all communicate. I really like it. It's really fun. I think it's a good element to be adding here, that the Insectoid is kind of more of a niche choice for supporting the group, and I really like this. I don't see anything that says that it stops at any point. So I'm going to assume that it's by default because you lose a hive mind when you turn into something else. But there is no time limit or duration to this effect. I think it should be specified in some way. And now the extra effect you have, Energizing Pollen. This is the one you gain by expending a spell slot. When you expend a spell slot, you make a cloud. This cloud helps you restore HP. in a 15 feet emanation around you. You can choose any number of targets, but you only get a pool of HP. You roll 2d8 plus 5 times your expended spell slots, and you distribute this to anyone you would like. I think it's a bit on the meh side, even though it's healing and you get to choose whoever you want. One, the distance is very small, and two, it's not scaling with the level, which it should. I really feel like all of these features should gain something from having you reach level 10 or 14. So let's see what the subclass has to say about improving your Titan class. At level 6, you can choose a different type of damage. That's cool. And you get Shockwave, which helps you when you transform into a Titan form. You can expand the spell slots and then create a Shockwave around you that's gonna force people on the ground. Forcing people on the ground is cool because you can then hit them and deal more damage. But if you have friends that are in range or further than what you are essentially nerfing their ways to deal damage. So I'm a 50-50 about this one. I think it's a good thing, but it should have something else, like an option to deal some damage would be fun, or even to push people around. Then level 10, you get improved Titan form, which lets you choose to become huge creature, and later at level 14 to become a titanic gargantuan creature. After that, you have the above it all as the level 10 benefit, which is if you are huge or bigger than this, larger than this in Titan form, you ignore the some difficult terrain like heavy snow, rubble, and so on, which makes sense. You are so big that you don't really care for them. The level 14 gives you the fact that you can become gargantuan. That's cool, and the fact that when you're hitting someone and the creature is huge or larger, so it's one size smaller or more than you, you hit them with an attack, the rend attack, and you get to grapple them. So that's an improvement to the rend attack that is to anyone, and you get to eat them up. And I really like this once you become gargantuan. Essentially, when you get eaten, the creature gets inside you. It takes little acid damage, 2d8. I think it's really low. I would suggest proficiency d6s. And you can swallow a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier. This is probably the funniest part, because it literally means you can eat up a number of dragons equal your wisdom modifier of large or huge dragons. They can still hit you inside and they won't be usually dead while you are swallowing them. It's an interesting and fun feature, but it needs a bit of ironing out. I would put Swallow one level up into the 10 and give it an upgrade at level 14 with the ability to swallow medium creatures and then expand it to large or huge creatures. I think that this UA about the Circle of Titan is really good. It's just a bit shy in the daringness of giving these titanic creatures special effects. So what I would add is more damage on the rend. Needs to have a scaling damage, clearly, for the creature to still be somewhat interesting. If you could change it into other creatures in other subclasses of the Druid, you very likely can do a lot more than what these creatures can do, and it kind of defeats the idea of being really big. I would probably consider like an opt-in effect for each of the creatures forms. The Behemoth, for instance, could have some kind of a damage resistance that comes in at higher level, or they could have a higher swallow effect, for instance, or maybe be the only one that get access to swallow earlier than the rest. The Leviathan, I feel, needs something like an AoE effect within the Ink Cloud as an upgrade, and the poison effect of the Toxic Stench needs to be extended to other types of effects. One easy one I would think of is a sluggish effect, like a slow loss of reaction, reduction of AC, these kind of things. The Insectoid I like, but I believe they could gain also some upgrade. A simple upgrade could be like a teleport effect or a dash ability that comes in to give them actual mobility. Another option could be to change the energizing pollen and to switch up its ability once you get big enough. Either it could become like dealing damage and or healing, so you get like the pull of effect and you choose if you want to damage some people or heal some others. One of the things it could do is actually remove some effects or inflict some effects, but I do get that they're trying to keep kind of the dealing effects to the Leviathan. The Behemoth is the straight up running monster that destroys doors, and the Insectoid is some kind of the supporty. Overall, I really like the flavor of this and what they're going with. I think it just needs a bit more refining and tuning up. That's it for the Circle of Titan Druid. This video is already long enough. I'm going to cut it in half and leave the Circle of Druid alone, and I will make a second video about the Villainous Pass that you can enjoy later. Until then, have a great day.